if I saw something better, it's like, if you invent a fusion reactor that can run a Tesla on a sugar cube for 100 years, and you ask me whether I would buy that instead of the Tesla, all other things being equal, I think I like the car with the fusion motor or the atomic overthruster. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, Bitcoin at its core is more of an ideology. The ideology is let's implement conservation of energy in cyberspace via a protocol which is fair and equitable.
MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor is one of the biggest advocates for Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency. Not only does Saylor's business intelligence and analytics company hold almost 130,000 Bitcoin, but the American entrepreneur also dedicates a significant amount of his time to convincing others about the rare qualities of the crypto asset. Though he has an obvious admiration for the crypto space as a whole, he doesn't think any other project or network comes close to Bitcoin's brilliance. In a recent interview, the MicroStrategy CEO speaks about his strong conviction for Bitcoin and the only factor that can shake that conviction. Saylor explains that he would only change his opinions about Bitcoin if something better is created. A network that implements conservation of energy in cyberspace better than Bitcoin. But after 13 years and 20,000 cryptocurrencies, Michael Saylor is yet to see anything that comes close to replicating the core values and principles of the Bitcoin network. We will now take you to Saylor's interview where, amongst other things, he predicts that Bitcoin has everything to become a $500 trillion asset class. Please watch, like, and share this video. You'd also drop your comments and observations about Saylor's interview below and subscribe for more crypto-related videos. Please enjoy the video.
The use case is if you live in Sri Lanka and you had money in a bank, you've lost it all. You're going to lose it all. And if you have money and property in Sri Lanka, it's kind of hard to rent your property or Airbnb it out when the government makes it illegal for tourists to show up. Right?
So it is a good example.
It's how you avoid starving to death if you live in a economy that is mismanaged. Every other thing that competes with it isn't a fair and equitable protocol for implementing conservation of energy in cyberspace. It's something different, right? When you start inflating the supply of the tokens by 5%, or when you have a foundation or an issuer, an ICO or an investment contract, and it's proprietary, or you keep hard forking, right? That's not conservation of energy via an open permissionless protocol in cyberspace. It's something different. The things that are closest to Bitcoin, right, were the Bitcoin forks, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. And if you look at Bitcoin Cash, it has collapsed by 99.5%, right? It's now like 50 basis points of Bitcoin. And I would say Bitcoin Cash, right, is probably the closest thing to Bitcoin that was supposed to be an improvement. Obviously not. So I think that the most important point here is somebody invented mathematics and we were living without mathematics. And now you've got mathematics base 10, and you can design planes and trains and automobiles and electric power plants and radios and modern technology, and you can fly to the moon with mathematics. Now, are you going to quibble with me over whether the math should be base 10 or base 8 or base 4? Like Isaac Newton wrote Principia Mathematica, and it was pretty much all the math that 99.99% of the people will ever need or know in their life. It's done. Right? 200 years ago, it's pretty good. And now if entrepreneurs keep launching base 8 math and base 16 math and base 4 math and base 32 math, and they come up with all these other, we don't want Arabic numerals anymore. We want Roman numerals, or we want like the Cylon warrior numerals. Yeah, they're all different forms of math. But the question is this good enough? And the answer is it's good enough. If you can create nuclear weapons with it, and you can create Teslas with it, and you can create airplanes with it, and create bridges with it, and create skyscrapers with it, it's good enough.
For the MicroStrategy CEO, the maths is good enough, and so is Bitcoin. In his interview, Saylor speaks further about other crypto projects that he labels shitcoins. He explains that the creators of these projects present them as an improvement on Bitcoin, but they are all just a waste of time and other resources. Please listen to Saylor's explanation on Bitcoin and how it becomes a 500 trillion base layer asset.
So at some point, all of the tinkering trying to reinvent the wheel is dysfunctional. I think most of the people in the crypto industry, they keep trying to reinvent the wheel because there's some measure of ignorance and arrogance, right, and greed. They kind of want to get rich, but if you're greedy, a better way to get rich is build an application on top of Bitcoin using the token. It's like all the people that want to reinvent the iOS, which is not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. How about build an app on top of the iOS? Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do something new. And in this case, I just think a lot of energy is wasted either worrying, like people come up with all these creative possible scenarios under which Bitcoin might be in trouble so that they can justify their shitcoin. It's like, I have a quantum resistant shitcoin. And do you know that theoretically I can imagine blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just silly, ridiculous stuff, but it goes on. And it's an incredible waste of energy. It's like you're wasting your life. And if it causes you to veer into the practice of issuing your own unregistered security, it takes you down a dark, unethical path too. Like it's illegal, it's unethical, and it's also stupid, waste of time. So I think it's worthwhile to consider carefully, right? And defend the network, think about the network. But for the most part, the creativity that's going to increase the ecosystem, the economy by a factor of 100, is mostly going to take place on layers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bitcoin at layer 1, it's good enough. It's good enough to be a $100 trillion base layer. It's good enough to be 200x bigger than it. It's good enough to be a $500 trillion base layer, right? That's not the part that needs fixing. That's the base 10 math at this point. Everybody ought to be working on applications, derivatives, services, other protocols, and they ought to stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's just not very productive, right?
That's Michael Saylor in his full element, putting to great use his double major in aeronautics and astronautics and science, technology, and society. What do you think about Saylor's unwavering conviction about Bitcoin? Do you share similar beliefs, or are there other crypto projects that appeal to you? We always love to hear from our subscribers, so be sure to drop all your comments and observations in the comment section below. Meanwhile, the crypto market seems to be stuck in the calm before a nasty storm. Or so 2 Bitcoin price predictions have revealed, according to Cointelegraph. A survey of 2,200 people conducted on Weibo, a China-based social media platform, found that 40% of respondents are waiting for the crypto asset's price to fall to $10,000. 26% said they would buy at $15,000, while another 8% said they would buy at $18,000. Bloomberg MLive Pulse also conducted a survey earlier in the month with a similar outcome to the Chinese poll. 60% of the net 950 poll participants on Wall Street predicted that Bitcoin would drop to $10,000 before the end of the bear market. One thing that could cause a drop to such levels will be if the current macro environment worsens further, but that remains to be seen. Despite the 9.1% U.S. Consumer Price Index, Bitcoin has remained above $20,000 after a high of $21,159 on Friday. For now, the investors and traders are looking forward to the next interest rate hike and how it could impact the crypto market and the economy as a whole. What is your prediction for Bitcoin as the global economic meltdown and energy crisis continues to worsen? Please drop your comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.